Hi, welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Katharine, and in today's video, I'm going to be recommending a few of my favorite bookstores here in New England. So I just recently made like a major switch in my reading from mainstream secular fiction to Christian fiction, so that's going to affect my favorite bookstores here in New England. Just an FYI, I have a couple Christian bookstores on this list, and I also have a used bookstore. But let's just get into this. So the first bookstore that I'm going to mention is Morningstar, which is located in Nashua, New Hampshire and Leominster, Massachusetts. They have two locations. They used to have more locations, I believe, but they've closed some. But those are the two locations that they have right now, and I've been to both locations. I'll insert some videos of me visiting there because I do have some footage of me visiting. The Leominster location is quite larger than the Nashua, New Hampshire location, and I loved both of them though. Those were the first two bookstores that I visited that were Christian here in New England. Even though they're technically the same store, they're two separate stores, so I'm counting them as two. But basically, they have such a large selection of books, specifically Christian fiction books. They also have Christian living books. They also have Bibles. They also have Christian decorations, like home decorations and things like that. It's also a gift store, so if you're looking for Christian gifts, they also have a lot of things like that there. So I definitely recommend checking out Morningstar. Again, it's in Nashua, New Hampshire and Leominster, Massachusetts. I've visited there before. All the staff is very attentive, very friendly, and they also hold a lot of events there, like author events or book clubs and things like that. So definitely check out their website. I'll put that down in the description below. And then the second bookstore that I would recommend, it's also another Christian bookstore, and that is Heritage House in Brockton, Massachusetts. And even though they don't have multiple locations like Morningstar, it's just one location, they do have a pretty good selection of books and used books. They actually have a used book section. I'll attach some videos of the footage that I got when I visited there. I really enjoyed my time there. I was able to pick up a couple new and used books when I visited there last. And I'm not too sure if they hold a lot of events there. I didn't see any postings for events, but I'm sure if you check out their website or social media, I'm sure they post things like that there. And then the third bookstore that I recommend for New England is not a Christian bookstore. It is a used bookstore. It's called the Used Book Superstore, I believe. It's in Burlington, Massachusetts, and I love going to this store if I'm looking for classics or for books in a series, because buying classics or buying series can get expensive because there's just so many classics and so many books and series. So if you're wanting to save some money, definitely check out the Used Book Superstore in Burlington. That's the closest used bookstore to me, and it's just got such a wide variety of books. I'll put some videos, of course, in this video of when I visited there as well. And they oftentimes will buy books if you have books within like certain parameters. I've never sold any of my books to them before, but I know that they do that. So definitely check that out. They also sell, like, of course, DVDs and music too, but they mostly specialize in books, of course. But the reason why I didn't choose like bookstores that are like Barnes and Noble or Books A Million, like just generalized big box stores for bookstores, is because I have such a problem with them. I feel like they already get so much business because they're always so popular. But the thing is like, why are they then, on top of that, charging so much for their books? For example, I was just there like a couple weeks ago. I've done, book shopping trips where I've gone to Barnes & Noble, so I will shop at Barnes & Noble occasionally if they have a sale or something, or if I'm just going for like one specific book that I know that they'd have there. and I'm just like kind of in a rush because Barnes & Noble is so accessible. That's the one thing about Barnes & Noble that I do like, is that it is accessible and they usually have books that I'm looking for. But the thing is like, I was just there a few weeks ago, like I was describing, and they were charging like $40 for a hardcover. And I feel like although hardcovers are really nice, they also shouldn't be $40. Like, I will not pay more than like $20 or $25 on a hardcover. Like, that's so unnecessary to spend $30, $35, $40 on a hardcover, and it's not even a special edition. And that goes with like any other big box bookstore, because it's not just Barnes & Noble who does that. It's like a lot of other stores too. I understand if maybe you're a small bookstore, I can justify them having higher prices because it's an independent bookstore and they probably only have one, if not just two locations, and they need to make a profit off of what they sell because they're not as popular as Barnes & Noble or Books A Million or any store like that. But I just can't justify spending that much money on books at Barnes & Noble. I just feel like it's so wrong. But like I was saying, like when I go to, you know, Heritage House or Morning Star, but the used book superstore doesn't really have a lot of, you know, expensive books like that unless it's like an antique book. But when I go to Morning Star or Heritage House, if they have a book at that price, like I can kind of justify buying a book at that price from those bookstores because I know they're a small business and I always like supporting small businesses, especially if it's a Christian bookstore. I know the money is going to a good place and like I know that they're promoting like morally sound books. And that's part of the reason why I like shopping at Christian bookstores rather than big box stores now, because I, like I said, have made a huge major switch from reading secular fiction to Christian fiction, with exceptions, of course. Like I mentioned before, I will read Harry Potter. I've just completed the Harry Potter series and I'm reading the Outlander series. I just started reading that. So I have made exceptions to that rule, but I'm mostly reading Christian fiction. And some people will argue with me whether or not as a Christian I should be reading Harry Potter or Outlander, but I personally don't feel convicted about reading those books, and it's your conviction to feel like I shouldn't read those books, but that's on you. Like, you can make that decision to not read it for yourself, but for me, I don't feel convicted about reading them, so I will read them. But anyways, that's another discussion that I can get into. But I love supporting Christian bookstores for that reason, because I feel like they do sell like books that are actually quality and I can trust and that are not like very explicit. The reason why I changed from reading mainstream secular fiction to Christian fiction is because a lot of mainstream secular fiction has a lot of like demonic undertones or like blatant demonic tones, or it just has like very explicit sexual content. And although I don't mind, you know, books mentioning, you know, demons and like the devil and stuff, as long as like at the end of the book like evil is evil and the book portrays that what is going on is not good and, you know, light overcomes darkness in the end, like I don't mind that. Like I don't mind there being like spiritual warfare or whatever in the book. I just don't appreciate when like books almost promote demonic stuff like demons and stuff like that, and basically like glorifying demonic or the demonic realm, if that makes sense. Like I don't mind reading about the devil or demons, but as long as the light overcomes the darkness, good overcomes evil at the end of the book, and we are not glorifying the devil and we're calling out evil for evil and bad for bad, if that makes sense. And same with sexual content. Like, I don't mind there being sexual content in books. For example, one of my favorite books of all time is Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers, and that deals with someone who was a prostitute. So of course it mentions, you know, sexual content in there, but like it's not for lustful reasons. I find like a lot of mainstream secular fiction mentions a lot of sexual content just for the pure sake of it being sexual content and for like lustful reasons. As long as the sexual content in the book is just for the plot and for the sake of the storyline, if that makes sense, I don't mind it. But when it crosses that line of like just having it in there for like lustful reasons, for like enjoyment, that's like where I draw the line and I say no, no. But anyway, I wanted just to recommend those 3 bookstores. So again, it is Morning Star, based in Nashua, New Hampshire, and Leominster, Massachusetts, and then also Heritage House in Brockton, Massachusetts, and also the Used Book Superstore in Burlington, Massachusetts. I love all 3 of those stores. They are great. So 2 of them are Christian, one is a used bookstore, of course. If you have any recommendations of used bookstores or just Christian bookstores or just maybe even normal bookstores that you think I should check out in New England, please let me know. I'm always looking for new places to visit and new places to try out to see what books they have. So please leave any suggestions down in the comment section below, and I'd love to try them out. And if you've visited any of these bookstores that I've mentioned, please let me know, and let me know how you liked them, because I'm always looking to see if people have similar opinions to the places I visited as well. So do all the things that you know how to do for YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!